Why don't you bring that yesterday?
I did. We filmed with it
Oh, you
the
did?
whole time, yeah. Okay. Boy, my vision's not too good. Okay. All right.
Are you recording?
Yep.
So let's talk about one of the world's best, most underrated supplements out on the market by Enhanced Labs. It's 3AD by Enhanced Labs. Now we know this is a pro-hormone, and this has an effect just like taking TRT. But Tony, what's your feelings on 3AD?
It's a miracle. It's too good to be true, because normally when you take something that's anabolic, it suppresses your natural testosterone production. But with 3AD, according to the lab work we've done on hundreds of people, it increases testosterone. So how can you have something that's anabolic, that builds muscle, that increases testosterone, that doesn't have any apparent side effects that we can see in lab work or by anybody feeling or reporting side effects? It's a miracle. I don't understand why more people don't use it other than pure ignorance. They just don't know about it. It's too good to be true. I have to say I think there's two reasons why people don't use it. One is they don't know about it.
Correct.
Or two is they want something more powerful. But most people don't need something more powerful. Most people aren't bodybuilders. Most people don't need to look like a competition bodybuilder physique. They just need a little something to give them more energy, feel better, increase testosterone, make it easier to build muscle, easier to lose fat, and increase their libido, their drive for life. All the benefits that come around with more testosterone, that's what 3AD does. And on top of that, in and of itself, it's anabolic. So it builds more muscle. So it's something that could be used while you're a natural, and you could still kind of call yourself natural because you're not suppressing your own natural testosterone levels.
Correct. It's 90 plus, really.
Yeah, it's increasing your natural testosterone levels. If anything, it's more natural to take it because our testosterone levels in today's day and age are suppressed because of our environment, because of culture. And so at least bringing our natural testosterone levels up to what our ancestors' testosterone levels was, at least I think that's more natural.
Well, I mean, if you look at the majority of the younger generation, especially between the age of 18 to 25, and a lot of these guys are complaining about low testosterone, and they're really like wondering what's going on. It usually has to do with the food and the culture that we live in in America and today, is they're not at the same levels as people our ages were in our 20s. When we were in our 20s, we were much bigger with our own natural testosterone. So if people are looking for an alternative, and a lot of people don't want to jump onto TRT, and in your early 20s, I mean, who would really,
We were at the Olympia Expo yesterday, and the anabolic doc was giving a presentation on why it's very big decision to start TRT, because once you start, you never stop.
Correct.
Once you start testosterone replacement therapy, you're going to be stuck on it for life. Now, I don't agree with that because there's things you can use, including 3AD, to restore natural testosterone levels. But nevertheless, that's the fear. People are afraid if I inject testosterone, I'm always going to have to inject testosterone.
Or I'm not going to be able to have a child either, is the other big one.
Lower fertility. But with 3AD, according to the lab work, you can take 3AD, be more anabolic, increase your testosterone levels. You can come off it at any time, and your testosterone levels will just go back to what they were before you took 3AD. There's no PCT required after 3AD. In fact, 3AD itself is PCT. Yes. 3AD is something you could run after a steroid cycle or after using testosterone replacement therapy to restore natural testosterone levels. That's a miracle.
So, I mean, if you really think about 3AD, right? A lot of people, the biggest comment that I get is that, oh, 3AD, it's too good to be true. It can't be something that's real. And what people don't realize is it's an adrenal metabolite. So it's a pro-hormone that causes your own body, right, to produce more testosterone. And the other good thing about 3AD is it doesn't convert to estrogen. So when people take TRT, there's always more testosterone converts into more estrogen. And especially for somebody that's on a heavier side, that it has more weight to them, more fat, they're even more prone to being estrogen sensitive and having estrogen side effects. Estrogen side effects can be very nasty for a male. Now, a man needs estrogen to produce muscle, and there needs to be a good balance in that. But too much estrogen is really bad in a lot of ways, mentally, physically, libido-wise. It's not a good thing. The beauty about 3AD is, let's say whether you are on TRT or you're not on TRT, it's not going to convert to estrogen. And people really are baffled by that. But let's say you are on TRT. Let's say you're on a dose of 150 milligrams to 200 to 250 milligrams. But once you go over, and it's controlled by an AI or whatever, the estrogen. Now, once you jump into that other range of 400, 500, 600 milligrams plus, the estrogen conversion is going to be much, much higher. And that's when you're going to have to deal with all the problematic things that can happen with estrogen. Now, if you're already on TRT and you throw in something like 3AD, you could get all the benefits of increasing the testosterone significantly without that estrogen conversion. Now, I've been on TRT for many years, right? I took 3AD when it first came out. I was one of the first people to take 3AD. And I was a little skeptical about it, but I was wondering, well, is this going to convert to estrogen? So I was able to take, and I was much heavier at that time too. I think I was probably 60 pounds heavier than I am now, maybe 70 pounds heavier on it. So me taking 500 milligrams of testosterone would really not be beneficial whatsoever. But when I ran the 3AD for 3 months, I had significant gains in the gym, increased muscle, increased strength, and I didn't have all those nasty estrogen side effects with it.
So when deciding between 3AD or testosterone or SARMs, it's like, which one to take? Well, first of all, take one. At least take one. It doesn't matter so much what you take. Just do something to get testosterone levels up, because the low testosterone epidemic is a serious problem. I mean, I walked around in public today here in America. I haven't been in America in a while, and everybody looks fat and unhealthy and low testosterone, and they're acting low testosterone. And they don't even realize that if they increase their testosterone levels, how much better every aspect of their life would be. So at least take something. And then whether to take testosterone replacement therapy, okay, that may be a long-term commitment. There may be estrogen conversion. It is a little bit more of a hassle to get it from a doctor, although it's much easier now with telemedicine clinics like Live Forever. Or you can take a SARM, which I like SARMs. They're more experimental. They, in my experience, don't have side effects. They have a lot of benefits. They don't increase testosterone, but some at low dosages don't decrease testosterone. But then you have 3AD, which actually increases testosterone. It's like the best of TRT and SARMs, but also not quite as anabolic as like a higher dosage of testosterone or a SARM. But the 3AD is part of the Natty Plus stack. So Connor Murphy takes 3AD plus Blue and Black Ox, which raises his testosterone even more. And he's more anabolic because the 3AD is anabolic in and of itself. And the Black Ox also mitigates his estrogen. So it keeps his estrogen down while his testosterone keeps going up, 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 up. And we want higher testosterone, but we also want a better ratio of testosterone to estrogen. So we want to increase testosterone, but we don't necessarily want to increase estrogen. We want that difference between the two, and that's what gives you that masculine physique. Harder muscles, more muscle, less fat.
Yeah, so think about Connor Murphy, for instance. Perfect example. He's probably benefiting more than somebody taking tons of grams of gear by just taking things like 3AD, Blue Ox, and Black Ox.
And he never has to cycle off.
So
he gets to look good all year around, never has to crash his hormones, never has to suppress his fertility, never has to suppress his natural hormone production. That's the Natty Plus protocol. Natty Plus means supplements that don't interfere with your natural testosterone production, supplements that don't have side effects, supplements that you're even healthier for taking them than not taking them. So in this case, it's too good to be true, but it is true. You can actually take these supplements to increase your testosterone, make you more anabolic, build more muscle, burn more fat, and also not only do they not have side effects, they're healthier to take. And for most men, especially in America, it's much healthier to increase testosterone levels
than having low testosterone. I mean, you see these guys with low testosterone, and you really have to question and debate whether they really are men to a degree.
I mean, that's what makes the difference between men and women. It's testosterone. If you give a woman testosterone, what happens?
She becomes a man.
She becomes a man. We just came back from the Olympia Fitness Expo. There's the women there are more masculine and more muscular than most of the men.
Yes.
That's because they take testosterone or steroids that are similar to testosterone. So what happens when you give a man testosterone? He becomes more masculine. What happens if you take testosterone away? He becomes more feminine. A man with low testosterone becomes soft, feminine, emotional.
Low sex drive.
Low sex drive, yeah. I mean, women don't need a lot of testosterone to have sex drive, but it does impact their sex drive. When a woman does take testosterone, her sex drive skyrockets. So these girls you see going around with big muscles, looking hard and dense, those girls have very high sex drive. When women have a high estrogen and low testosterone and they say, "Oh, I'm so horny all the time, I have a high sex drive," they have no idea what high sex drive is. They don't know what it feels like to be a man. You give that woman testosterone, and then she'll know what it's like to have a high sex drive. Testosterone gives you sex drive.
Yes. So.
Yeah. 3AD, again, I don't know why anybody wouldn't take it. I take it, and I even take steroids. I mean, because I want to maintain my natural testosterone production, maintain my natural fertility, and I want a nice foundation. And I also don't want to have to worry about injecting I like to take breaks and be able to like bridge the gap by taking SARMs and 3AD to give me a foundation of testosterone to stay anabolic without having to be a slave to injecting myself all the time.
Yeah, and we just had an athlete actually that was 100% natural, and he took 3AD for the first time to bridge to the other side to test the waters a little bit, and his response was excellent. And if you don't believe it, look at Conor Murphy's labs. Between the 3AD, the Blue Ox, and the Black Ox.
Extensive lab work that we did on Conor Murphy for every phase of his Natty Plus protocol, before and after 3AD, before and after SARMs. It's great data. I don't think anybody else in the industry has done as much very detailed lab work with controlled environment as we did with Conor Murphy. Now, I've done it many times before, but most people aren't public about it. But Conor Murphy is actually publishing on the Natty Plus protocol all of his lab work and all of the analysis that goes along with it. So you can see how 3AD actually affects all of his lab work. And we saw no side effects on his lab work. I mean, again, it's like it's too good to be true. It's a miracle pill, but this is 2023. My gosh, supplements have been in development and the technology's been advancing for so long. We would expect that by now we would have supplements that have all the benefits without the side effects. And it's only going to get better in the future. But for now, 3AD is the most effective, most advanced pro-hormone that we have in existence, where you get the most amount of benefits with not only the least amount of side effects, but health benefits instead of side effects.
Yes.
Too good to be true 10 years ago. Right now, it is true because technology has advanced and we want to stay on the cutting edge. And that's what we do. I'm Tony Huge. This is Rob Gahn, Enhanced Rob, and Be Swole and Soul, Friends of Freedom, Pioneers of Human Evolution. A day natty is a day wasted.